Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Hagen-Botham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, Andrew Bartolotta.
Welcome back to the City Current Show, where we bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making an impact and powering the good in our community and around the globe. I'm your host, Andrew Bartolotta, and today we're thrilled to have with us Matt Thompson, President and CEO of the Memphis Zoo. With the holiday season just around the corner, the zoo is gearing up for their highly anticipated and family favorite, of course, Zoo Lights, a dazzling celebration that's a must-see for the entire family. We're also going to dive into the zoo's remarkable conservation efforts and exciting plans for the future, including the transformation of the Africa exhibit and other key site developments. So let's get into it. Matt, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, Andrew. How are you today?
Good, doing well. Okay, so let's start with a holiday favorite across the Mid-South, Zoo Lights. It's a beloved holiday tradition. Share with us what visitors can expect at this year's Zoo Lights.
Well, as usual, there's a 100% chance of snow in the courtyard at the zoo. So people can always expect to walk into the zoo and see some snow and hear some Christmas music going on, and then see the rest of the holiday lights. So we always mix it up just a little bit, but more lights than ever, and creating memories. I mean, that's what that event is all about. So we're always excited to put that on. It's just a fun time, and people come out with their kids year after year, and it's just a great way to connect with the community.
It really is, and it is a unique opportunity to come through the zoo after it's closed. So that's really fun. And the lighting displays just year after year are so incredible. You've got magicians, you've got so many different things going on that are so much. How does something like Zoo Lights contribute to the zoo's mission and community engagement efforts? Because you also have like Zoo Boo during the fall season as well.
Right. That's a good question. We are, at the end of the day, we're a cultural attraction, and we try to do it all. So we try to be, that meeting, gathering place for people to come and meet with their family and friends and create memories. But we're also a conservation organization and an education organization. So, and you throw in a healthy dose of entertainment as well. So, we want to get people in our doors and educate them about what we do and the mission that we are, but that they are supporting just by being there. And so, something as entertainment based as lights or Zubu, if it's you don't have to look too hard to find an educational component. And just people walking in the door support our cause. I mean, buying a ticket to anything we do goes to the bottom line. It is directly supporting our mission, animal conservation and welfare. I mean, that's what we do. So even an event like Zubu or Zoo Lights, you're going to come in and you're going to see, people handling animals, talking about animals, signage about our conservation projects, all while you're having fun with your family and friends at the zoo. So we definitely work it in there.
You do, and it's so fun as a father to 3 toddlers. When we go to the zoo, quite frequently, it's really fun to talk about the conservation with the children, because even over last time we were there by the lion exhibit, you have this entire section dedicated to here's what we're doing to help enhance the conservation efforts of the specific group of lions. And then you have sort of how the Memphis Zoo is doing that and how the community can contribute to that. And so the different engaging components. The Memphis Zoo recently, congratulations, was recognized as the 2nd best zoo in the nation by Newsweek.
Yes.
So talk about what this recognition means for you and your team.
It's a wonderful morale booster for our team. We focus on so many things, like I've said, conservation, education, but also guest experience. If people don't come and feel appreciated and have a good time, then they're not going to partake in our mission and listen to what we're doing, right? And so we want to be as well rounded as we can and present a wonderful show and be as the best that we can be in all of those categories. And we've been working really hard over the last couple of years to really focus, on those things. And so to be called out for something like that, it just kind of reaffirms, what we've been working on and lets us know that people are noticing. So it's super exciting for us.
As a tourism draw and to make sure that those visiting outside of Memphis say, I'm going to make the Memphis Zoo a spot on my trip
Right.
I said, we love visiting zoos when we go out of town. And then for those that are in Memphis to realize just the gem that we have in our city and to make sure that we are good stewards of it and visiting often, becoming members. The membership options are fantastic and they really make it easy to be able to just go zoom through the zoo, fast pass through the entrance and make it a fun experience and including discounts. One of the really cool things that I love that the Memphis Zoo has done is really gamify the experience through the app. And so the zoo has embarked on an ambitious plan to transform the Africa exhibit. What can you tell us about the improvements and how they will enhance the experience for both animals and visitors?
That's a good question. And the comments you made about making our environment, like kind of the gamification and making our environment more immersive and interactive for our guests is related. So I would say if the Memphis Zoo has kind of a calling card, either amongst guests or amongst even other zoos, it's kind of our immersive exhibits. We like to create exhibits that are, part of the world or part of the United States so that you can, take a trip to Africa or take a trip to China or the Pacific Northwest. And, we see over 60,000 school kids a year and, not all of those can travel to all of those exotic locales. And so we want to transport you there. And that would be one of the goals of Africa. We want you to go on safari. I would say if there's one driver for making Africa just amazing, it's the elephants. We are all in on African elephants, and we believe that they need just like we've been systematically doing across the zoo, they need a modern, state-of-the-art, roomier exhibit, and this will do that. It would be going from roughly an acre or a little less to the whole exhibit being close to 14 acres, not just for elephants. There's giraffe and rhino in there and some other things, but that's the kind of the main attraction, and that's the direction we want to go. But we plan for it to be a super immersive, heavily themed, on safari type exhibit with sights, sounds, food, the whole 9 yards. So we are, we've got a whole big plan that we're working on. Africa would be step number one, and I can tell you it's going to be amazing.
Well, I can't wait because we already enjoy seeing the elephants.
Yeah, they're amazing.
I mean, it is almost to where you can touch them, and so I can't wait for them to have even a roomier exhibit for them to really show off all of their fun characteristics.
Yeah, they're amazing animals, and they deserve the best.
They do, and so do the giraffes as well. It's so fun feeding the giraffes. You also have upcoming developments at the west end of the zoo. What can you tell us about the new Great Lawn Stingray Touch Experience and Soaring Eagle ride?
Okay, so if you've been lately, you've noticed some construction fencing and some construction going on. So on the west end of the zoo, which is the end of the zoo with where the aquarium and birdhouse and all of that is, there was the Pelican Pool, which is the old, from a long time ago, sea lion pool, and what we call the Round Barn, which was the kind of octagonal building with the pie-shaped exhibits, and it had African hoofstock and birds. So those two facilities are now gone. They've been demoed, which was we were sad to see, any part of the zoo go, but they just didn't meet modern day standards, and they needed to go. And so it actually is looking really, really amazing. And so what we plan to put there is a new stingray exhibit. So we had stingrays a few years ago. It was very popular. This will be a much better exhibit. It will be indoor. It will be 4-season. It will not be seasonal. It will be part of general admission. It will be touch. There will be 3 different pools, so 1 main one and 2 others, sharks and rays, mangrove trees on the inside. It's going to be a beautiful exhibit, and we're really excited about that. Again, pointing back to that interactive component that people like and enjoy, and it just sets up learning when you can touch and feel. Everyone has fun and they learn. So there's that going on. There's going to be a lot more open space and as you called the Great Lawn, kind of shade and grass for people to just hang out. And then yes, we are putting in a zip line. It's going to be two zip lines actually that go off in 2 different directions. So all I'll tell you now is that they do go over animal exhibits, and it's going to be super cool.
That sounds so much fun. I'm gonna have to get over my fear of of heights to be able to experience that firsthand.
This is not a scary one. It's not super fast. It's not. I think, Andrew, I think you could pull it off. So basically, you start. It's a 4-seater. Each one there's 2 of them, and you're pulled up to a high point and then kind of let go, and you kind of zip back down. So it's not one of those where you kind of go from tower to tower with a harness and that kind of thing. It's a fun experience, but you will feel safe.
That sounds much more enjoyable than sort of those other experiences that I've had. So sounds super cool. And we, of course, were there recently and enjoyed your new train, which goes over just visiting the farm, which is so much fun. And having it tied into Le Bonheur Children's Hospital, I think is such a cool aspect of community involvement. Talk about some of maybe the community partners that you have throughout the zoo. I know you can't name them all, but maybe some that are really special that help tie in the community aspect.
Le Bonheur, for example, when we were chatting, they've been a Zubu sponsor for 12 or 15. It's been a long time, and we got to talking with them, and we realized that even though we provide very different services, obviously, to our community, that we kind of have the same market, so to speak. It's kids and families, and they're expanding into kind of areas, Jackson and in all directions that we pull from. And so we're kind of talking to the same people. And so that's how the train thing came about. It's like, we're, Le Bonheur wants to be a part of that. And we obviously want to partner with them in a more robust way. But, another example with that is Monogram Foods. They sponsor the splash pad. They have a foundation called Monogram Foods Loves Kids. And obviously we love kids. Le Bonheur loves kids. There's a theme here. And, we're all working together to provide something, for the kids of Memphis and the visitors that come as well. So yeah, community involvement is big, and we're trying to get as many on that train as we can.
Yes, absolutely. Both figuratively and literally.
Yes.
And so one of the cool things too that I've been a part of in the past year is the groundbreaking of your expanded hospital, zoo hospital. And so cityCURRENT partner Metro Construction is part of that process, as well as many other community stakeholders. And what's interesting is that sort of on the behind the scenes of the Memphis Zoo, but just quickly talk about what y'all are doing when it comes to making animal welfare a top priority at the zoo.
Thank you. Yes. So Metro Construction, for example, working with them has been great. But, working on a project like that for the zoo is not your typical construction project. It's just, it adds a fun component to it. And you have buy-in, like, People that, they want to do the very best that they can for the zoo. And that's another fun part of working with community partners and on a project like this, because everybody, just like the kids, everybody wants to help the animals. And so, yeah, we're adding, was started off as a small project, to bring a CT to our zoo hospital, which to have advanced imaging here is amazing. Turned into adding a wing onto our hospital and doing it in the most. So we were just going to kind of shoehorn it into our existing square footage, and it was going to be great and all of that. But we decided to try to do it right. And the community, the community responded in a big way. Some donors came in, a lot of private, a lot of just little bit at a time, and people want to help in that regard. And so that support enabled us to add a wing and to do it right. So it'll be a huge improvement to our zoo hospital. We've always had a nice facility, but upgrading that equipment is very expensive. We've got ultrasounds and x-rays and soon to be a CT, just like human hospitals, but our patients don't carry insurance or cash, as I say. And so when we need, if our ultrasound machine breaks or is out of date, then we're paying $60,000 to $80,000 for a new ultrasound machine. It's not, we're not on some sort of rotation where all of that stuff gets upgraded automatically and that kind of thing. I mean, that's real money to us. And so to be able to do what we're doing. And so we're not just adding a CT, we're modernizing the hospital. So new, lights for surgery and some other equipment. I mean, new flooring and cabinetry, and it's just basically going to, in short, it's going to give us one of the best animal. We had a good one, but it's going to give us one of the best animal hospitals around that I know of. So it is off exhibit. We do some behind the scenes with that, and we're trying to figure out ways that we can make it more accessible, because everyone's interested in the zoo hospital. It's a very important part of what we do as far as animal care and welfare. And so we're trying to figure out ways where people can see more of what we do there.
Yes, it really is a remarkable experience in knowing that you can take an animal like a bear and be able to give an ultrasound, or maybe it's a small pelican or whatnot. I mean, the sizes are just remarkable of the animal sizes that you're able to then care for. As the Memphis Zoo continues to evolve, how do you envision its role in the community 5 to 10 years from now?
We are a gathering place for our community. It's something that another part of that guest experience that we've been working on is being a consistent and a safe place for people to come. And you mentioned membership. That's an important part of ways that our visitors can support us. But we, when you think of, again, getting together with family and friends, having a cup of coffee, having a meal, we want to be part of that conversation and just be hey, let's go to the zoo. And if you're a member, you can go, like you said earlier, you can go for 30 minutes or an hour and not feel like you can come and go. You can come twice in a day, whatever, and not feel like that, you have to stay and get your money's worth, so to speak. So I guess we want to lean more into that, but as one component, but as we grow, one of my emphasis has been talking about us as a conservation organization. And I want people, we have been involved in conservation in a major way for many years now. And one of my emphasis has been, let's talk about it more and more. It's kind of like the zoo hospital. It's off exhibit. It's amazing, but not everybody sees it. Our conservation efforts are the same way. Like we do some amazing work, but it's not on exhibit, so to speak. And so I think all of those things are going to be kind of at the forefront of our minds as we move forward.
Well said. And I do like seeing, like I mentioned earlier, when you're going through different exhibits, sort of the amplifying the conservation efforts, not just talking about the animals, but then what you're doing in their countries of origin to be able to make sure that more of them are well kept and are breeding and healthy. So I think, of course,
Exactly.
conservation efforts, and it's so cool that it's happening from Memphis
Yeah.
globally. I mean, you got Sri Lanka, you've got so many different places where you are going in and really diving into the conservation efforts. One of the newest sort of additions that our family again enjoys too is the renovated cat cafe, which
Yeah.
makes it so easy to be able to order food in a fast, efficient way. Once again, using technology.
Yeah.
And we really enjoy, I love seeing, especially as a longtime member of the Memphis Zoo, the advancement in technology, not only to make it easier for the family experience, but also for efficiency. And
Yeah.
so that's
Yes.
really cool as well. You've been a part of the Memphis Zoo, which I did not realize this, but for nearly 30 years. And so,
Yes.
what puts a smile on your face when you look at the past 3 decades at the Memphis Zoo and what you and your team have been able to achieve?
Well, you said me and my team, and that is such an important part of it. People don't realize that the zoo employs 400 people. It's a small city that operates, in and of itself, and we have grown from rather humble beginnings. With our last master plan that rebuilt roughly half the zoo, and we went from, I think at the beginning of that master plan, we were attracting 250,000 annually, if that. And now we're at the million number, and people are coming because of what we're creating and what we're doing on site. And so, gosh, that's a hard question to answer because so much has happened in the time I've been at the zoo. But like what you just said, and it sounds silly, the Cat House Cafe. Like, thank you for pointing that out. Has been the same design since Cat Country opened in '93, and you know, our focus on guest experience, that played into that. It's because we noticed on busy days that there were these long lines out the door, and our kitchen was pumping out the food, but we had a hard time getting it to people fast enough, and this and that. And so that whole redesign, the idea was not necessarily to make it look better. The idea was it was just an exercise in efficiency. And just like you said, it's more efficient. And so we had folks come in and evaluate and help, and it was truly a team effort. And then the end result is, just to give you a quick stat, we went from the average wait time on food being almost 30 minutes when there's like 5,000 people in the zoo. So not a small day, but a big day, going from almost 30 minutes to 7 minutes. That is the most reinforcing thing to bring. And but during that exercise in efficiency, we're like, oh, if we do this and we do that, and it kind of turned into kind of a minor, just major aesthetic redesign of the dining room. And so it's all about people coming, getting good food efficiently, and then going back out if they so choose to see the rest of the zoo. So that's just an example of the team being all in and doing quality work. I mean, it's just, I don't know, I could go on and on. It's hard to answer one thing, but just the improvements that have happened all over the zoo, and of course animal welfare is a big one. Each and everything is centered around that. So yeah, it's a jumbled answer, but it's a lot.
No, I think it's well said. And I love the example on efficiency and
Yeah.
that all of the employees really have. And it's even fun, especially, you mentioned as a member going in for 30 minutes, an hour, coming back, we almost make it a weekly habit. And it's fun to see familiar faces of the zoo employees, but then also just how much they enjoy their job. And
Right. Yeah.
refreshing to be in a place where
Yes.
people enjoy their job.
Yes, and if the people are having a good time, they're having a good time, and they feel like it's working. And if you go in the Cat House Cafe and you look around, you will see animal artwork and animal videos and all of that. That's not just theming. A lot of thought went into that. So if you look up and we've done several improvements around the zoo that have included local artists. So there's a gorilla in Primate Canyon. There's a Komodo dragon in Komodos. There's that artwork in Cat House Cafe. There's some new artwork coming in, or that has been done in the birdhouse. Those are all separate local artists. And the artwork in the Cat House Cafe, that's all animals we have. It's based on the Memphis Zoo, and so it's not just a theme. It's we're trickling in that that mission and that what we do on a day-to-day basis as many places as we can.
There is a woman in the Cat House Cafe, and we were there 3 days in a row. We were visiting out of town friends, going to the splash pad and stuff. And she said, "Baby, I see you here again." And I was like, my heart melt, because I'm like, you recognize me, I recognize you, but for you to recognize me. And she's like, "Here you are, refilling your drink again." And no, it's just such a fun experience to be able to have those friendships with your staff. It's great. Where can people go to learn more about the Memphis Zoo, purchase tickets for zoo lights, help in your conservation efforts, and follow the Memphis Zoo?
The most inclusive answer is our website. We've got a lot of information on there. It's interactive. It's fun. If you are not, I strongly recommend you follow us on social media, all of them. We have a great marketing and PR team that runs our social media, and they're very good at bragging about what we do and showing off all of the wonderful offerings we have. So if you follow that, you will learn about all of the things that you mentioned. And I would also recommend that you download our app. A lot of fun things on there, and that's where if you download the app, turn on notifications, and then come to the zoo, you're going to get some interaction. You mentioned gamified earlier, so there's some of that going on. There's scavenger hunts. You're going to get some notices. We're trying to even communicate just with our members that are at the zoo. So you might get some notifications about a special going on, or a sale, or an event, or an animal making an appearance somewhere. So we're trying to make all of it as interactive and fun as possible.
Well, you all do an amazing job at that. Once again, memphiszoo.org, and definitely follow them on social media. It's so fun to see y'all take humor, you take conservation efforts, you take a fun and educational approach to animals and the Memphis Zoo. So it's so fun to follow there. Thank you and your team for just really making the Memphis Zoo one of the top in the nation, and really a special place of, once again, conservation, animal welfare, and a space to educate youth and adults alike. Thank you for powering the good in our community and really around the world.
Thank you for the support and for being a part of it.